Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we are going to be talking about Ripple and XRP, as well as the vast majority of crypto and finance. With that being said, I just want to dive in, and I want to start off with this tweet here from Coach JV. So it seems as though the SEC is going right off the rails and, stooping as low as saying that the judge was wrong. More dopamine for you, laugh out loud. They just keep slowing down the process as the system gets ready for full adoption, XRP. So let me get this right. For 2.5 years, Ripple spends $200 million plus to clear XRP as a currency. And after those 2.5 years, we finally get to a rolling, and immediately the SEC goes out and says that the XRP rolling was wrong. This is comical to me. Now, the big question is, will they appeal, right? Now, this is going to be a drawn-out process. Again, if they do appeal, we're talking years and years and years of court battle. But we already know that XRP is cleared, right? This is the law of the land. For 2 years at least, XRP is cleared. And we do see here that the SEC Commission said Friday that a federal judge erred when she ruled against the agency in a landmark crypto case last week and signaled that it will appeal the decision. U.S. District Judge, Annalisa Torres sided with Ripple Labs that roughly half of its sales of cryptocurrency XRP didn't violate investor protection laws. Her decision gave hope to other defendants who are fighting the SEC over their sale of cryptocurrencies, which the SEC says are often illegally sold securities. Now, as we do look at this should just show you how embarrassing the SEC is for the US. Anderson, 2022, the laws are clear. The Howey test, they're all securities except Bitcoin. 2023, the judge is wrong. This is a government agency that's supposed to protect investors. So we get a ruling from the judge. The case is slowly but surely getting put behind us. And the agency goes out and does what? Oh yeah, claims that the judge was wrong. I mean, you can't make this up. Now, in terms of an appeal, BlackBerry XRP really kind of comment on this. What do you see? Remember that a party must file a notice of appeal within a certain amount of days from the decision being entered. Once you file the notice, that preserves your right to appeal. You then have much longer to perfect the appeal. Moral of story, notice is not an appeal. And he's bringing this up because we started to get a little bit of a discussion around the appeal, and then we got a notice of an appeal. Meaning it looks as though the SEC is getting ready for this. There's been a few updates and there's been a few discussions around the SEC, especially with other cases just recently on Twitter. Shout out to James K. Filan. We do see in the SEC versus Terraform Labs Do Kwon case, the SEC has filed a pleading discussion Judge Torres' decision in SEC versus Ripple, in which it states that SEC staff is considering the various available avenues for furthering review and intends to recommend that the SEC seek such review. Pleading below, SEC says XRP rolling was wrong, signals it will appeal. So we're kind of betting on them appealing this. And you know what? I hope that they do. I know that sounds crazy, but I hope that they do appeal this because it's only going to embarrass them even more. The SEC, in my opinion, every single day that goes by is losing more and more credibility. This agency is not in the right mindset and even in the right jurisdictions to protect investors anymore. They should all, and I mean everyone at the SEC, be stripped of any power, including the biggest clown of them all, Gary Gensler. Now, we also did see Cowboy Crypto respond to this tweet from James K. Filan. He also did link the BlackBerry XRP tweet. But we do see here, contrary to defendants' assertions, much of the Ripple rolling supports the SEC's claims in this case and rejects arguments defendants have raised here. That's right. That's what the SEC is saying, that it supports the SEC's claims. How comical. However, with respect to the programmatic and other sales, the SEC respectfully avers that Ripple conflicts with and adds baseless requirements to Howey and its progeny. Respectfully, those portions of Ripple were wrongly decided and this court should not follow them. SEC staff is considering the various available avenues for further review and intends to recommend that the SEC seek such review. This is what they are saying fully, and it's kind of comical, right? Like, they're stooping this low as a government agency. And what have I always said about the SEC? They're an absolute joke. Why are we even taking this agency serious at this point? Like, you know, I hate the idea of Congress stepping in, because Congress for the longest time now has just been playing this game of, oh yeah, the SEC sucks, Gary Gensler sucks, but we're not going to do anything, right? You know, it's like somebody who's constantly complaining and complaining and complaining, but doing nothing to alleviate their complaints. So as Congress constantly says that the SEC and Gary Gensler are not fit for the job, like, do something about it. We start to see bills coming up around, you know, getting rid of Gary Gensler and getting rid of, you know, the SEC out of crypto. But I feel like we're just going to constantly be waiting for something to happen around the SEC so that they no longer have any jurisdiction over crypto. But one thing is certain. Their statements here and what they've been talking about, especially around crypto, it's just comical. It's comical that this SEC, this agency, has any say over these markets. Also, from Johnny Dean, we do see here, until the SEC Gov can cite a single case where the Supreme Court added a Howey factor requiring the judge to consider the level of sophistication of the investors entering into the common enterprise with the issuer/seller, or a factor that requires the result after the Howey application to be consistent with policy considerations behind the 1934 Securities Act. The SEC lawyers sound just like the prima donna crybabies they are. So yeah, I mean, everyone basically agrees that this is complete nonsense by the SEC. It's baseless claims. There's nothing actually here in terms of substance from the SEC. So I do question what's going to happen next. Are we going to get an appeal? What's going to happen around the appeal? Well, just like everyone else has been saying, right? Like, I hope that we do get the appeal. Like, for an example, here we have, I hope they appeal because it would be an enormous mistake. But this could also be designed to position them strongly for settlement discussions. And yeah, this would be perfect for them. Remember, I just recently made a video actually talking about this, why it would set up for a perfect settlement from Ripple. And a lot of people were questioning, like, why would Ripple even settle at all? And I even said, I see a lot of people wondering / questioning why Ripple would settle with the SEC. And the answer is simple. They got what they wanted. XRP and the entire XRP ecosystem has been cleared. This video from Bank XRP where Brad Garlinghouse talks about what they would want in order for them to settle mentions this. How would a settlement benefit Ripple at all? Simple. They would avoid an appeal and also avoid the expensive legal fees. It would make sense, but will we see a settlement? That's the big question, and we don't have the answer yet. And yes, like, as we look at this, right, it makes sense. It makes perfect sense. A lot of people are questioning, like, 6 to 8 weeks from now. We don't know, right? Like, we don't know a time frame. And it's honestly stupid to even guess a time frame on this if it does happen. But first and foremost, you know, as we do look at what's happening right now around the SEC, we know that there's a lot of nonsense being pushed from the SEC. Their ego is being questioned by what the judge has done. So they're salty, right? They're extremely salty. It's as simple as that. And we know that the government, these government agencies, they will stoop so low just to protect that ego. And, you know, as we do look at this decision, listen, it's crucial. It's crucial to note it. XRP is cleared. XRP is unleashed. The chains are broken. So now we look at the next major stepping stone, and a settlement or an appeal could very well happen. What do you see over here from Jeremy Hogan, attorney Jeremy 1 over on Twitter? Love or hate the Ripple decision, it has absolutely demolished Chair Gensler's position that no crypto legislation is necessary. Great thread by Mr. Hammond. And yes, it absolutely has, right? And here we are from James K. Filan as well. This week in Congress and crypto from Ron Hammond, who says the Ripple case has made a huge impact on the politics of the bills. And we do see over here this week in Congress and crypto, as of right now, the stablecoin and market structure bills are slated for a vote in the House committees next week. A lot of back and forth behind the scenes, but the Ripple case has made a huge impact on the politics of the bills. Here's why. Off the bat, the SEC has put senior Democrats in Congress in a weaker negotiating position. While the case wasn't a full win for Ripple, it has significantly weakened the SEC's arguments that 1, legislation wasn't needed, and 2, the SEC never lost a crypto case in the courts. Democrats' position on legislation wasn't always a no. In fact, during my time on the Hill in 2018, senior Democrats Maxine Waters and Sherrod Brown met with Warren Davidson and me to discuss legislation to regulate crypto, and they said it was something they agreed needed to be done. That position on legislation flipped in 2022, and it was largely SEC driven. It is common for Congress to rely on regulators, especially when they are of the same party, as they are subject matter experts. When Gensler pivoted from his 2021 position on legislation, so did Democrats. This is why the market structure legislation seems largely Republican-led. However, the Ripple case changes this. Some hate the outcome, others praise it. Regardless of one's takeaway, there is a common theme of confusion after the fact, and legislation is the only clarifying force. Unlike the stablecoin bill, there is no Republican version and Democratic version. There's just one draft from Patrick McHenry and Congressman GT, as Democrats didn't think this legislation was needed after being told by the SEC. Now, there are clear regulatory gaps, but Republicans need Democrats if they want this done. This is when the politics come into play. The bill seems like it will be getting a vote in the committees next week, the first step of many in getting a bill to the president's desk. Some Democrats, largely younger, have expressed interest in the legislation, but not all. We are starting to see engagement from consumer groups defending the SEC's position that legislation is unnecessary. Recall the SEC's position differs from other Biden regulators such as Treasury and CFTC. So interesting, they chose the SEC side. It is also interesting to note that defending the regulation by enforcement approach is odd considering 2022 wasn't a good year for crypto consumers. The Hill also understood the timing of Binance, a bad actor, and Coinbase being so close to each other as politically motivated. To be clear, between the House, AG, and Financial Services Committees, there seems to be several Democrats who are looking to support legislation. Politics will determine if it is both bills or just stablecoins. Market structure is unique as it is the only House effort on that topic. It is politically tough to buck your own party leadership in Congress, which is why Republican Waters is a key force. However, it does not all rely on her, and we've seen bills where many members go against leadership to support a common sense bill. The best example of this is safe banking, the marijuana banking bill. Republicans were in the minority that go around, and while Rep. McHenry didn't support, a hefty amount of younger Republicans joined all the Democrats in supporting it. This gave the bill legs in the general House vote and Senate. There is still a lot of flux, so stay tuned for updates the coming days. Regardless of your view on crypto, Democrat Wiley Nichols said it is best, whether you love crypto or hate crypto, you should support market structure legislation. Inaction is not an option. And, you know, as we do look at this, right, like, why is this so crucial to focus on? It is so simple, right? Everyone is looking at XRP and they're like, well, when's mass adoption going to happen? This is where it all begins. Proper regulations, proper guardrails up. And again, I even just talked about, some concerns around these bills. We need proper regulations. We need regulations that are not going to stifle innovation or stomp out, retail out at all. So we need proper regulations. We need proper bills that are going to support this growth. And with that, once we have that in place, all the obstacles are broken and mass adoption will take place over the course of the next couple of years. And when we look at utility, well, guess what? Utility will really shine upon or be shined upon, I should say, at that moment. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, to notifications on, because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. As always, hope that you all have a beautiful day or a beautiful night wherever you guys are in this beautiful world. This has been Nick. Peace out, guys.